have you with us today. I know we all know, as the group's content director, you're a very busy man, but we need to have some answers. So, what we want to know today is, so Atomic Slot Lab. It seems like it just popped up out of nowhere. Nobody really knows how, but everybody's a bit excited. We have a very strong game coming up. But before we can focus on the game, we need to know what is Atomic Slot Lab about. How did it came to be? Can you tell us more?
Thanks, Nicholas. Great to join everybody today. So just to give a bit of background, last year, Bragg Gaming acquired Wild Street Gaming, which is the company I founded 6 years ago. And so we became part of the Bragg family. And as we joined the company, I took over a group content director. We really want to look at how we can best utilize the assets that we knew we had and actually really design the best games we can for the online experience. So we grew our team over the past 6 months. We've actually created a new studio called Atomic Slot Lab, which is specializing in creating online content specifically for the Bragg gaming platforms. So some of what you'll see, right, for a game like we're launching next week, Egyptian Magic, the Atomic Slot Lab is actually taking those games and really redefining that player experience for the online world.
Excellent, excellent. So, talking about game experiences, you yourself are part of this industry in both spheres, online and land based, for over 20 years. So, could you maybe let us know, or just kind of try to portray to us how did all those years of experience impact your game creation today? So, do you feel like are you more focused towards the online right now? Are you trying to do both? And how does it impact the games?
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to work in this very exciting industry for a very long time, as you know. And I'm very passionate about games and what we play and what we produce. So I've really worked primarily in land-based for, obviously more than 15 years. And we really wanted to learn about the online space. So the biggest issue for me, to be honest, is having the failures along the way, right, and really learning the online slot market and taking the last 5 years to really start to see some success in that space. In the last couple of years, we've really started to see that success, and so I'm really excited to taking some of the best of the land-based market and merging it with some of the online market, because the online game mechanics offer us something quite unique. So part of the acquisition and joining Bragg was access to great technology and actually using that technology to further modify the player experience. So, as we look forward and we look at Atomic Slot Lab and, taking some of these land-based sort of game concepts and building upon them, right? And I get to take this new technology roadmap and bolt it on. We really feel good around what we can actually deliver to the player experience.
It all sounds very exciting. It does. So, what essentially, to try to recap this. So you're saying, with all of this experience, or we rather, should be in a position where we should have a pretty wide reach, right? So using this, you could say, traditional mechanics, and then modernizing them, implementing them in new ways. And I'm sure you and Luca will go into it in a second, right? But just modernizing this mechanics applies to more traditional players, more, let's say, an older audience which is familiar with that. But through that modernization, it also applies to newer players like millennials and younger, right? So they should be attracted to these types of game as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's a great question, Nicholas. And working through all my years in this industry, right? I think player demographics can mean many different things to many people. So we certainly see regional preferences, right, from various markets around the world, right? I see differences in land-based versus online. Um, but ultimately, right, we want to develop really good player experiences. And when we look at players, a lot of times it's not exactly where they're from or what exactly they've been taught to play when they've been growing up, or older in their days. But it's the amount of time and their experience within the casino market. So as they start to grow and their player preferences shift, right, we start to see them latch on to more complex games and complex math models. So it's really a player maturity from when they've started to play in the casino space and how fast they mature into that next sort of player experience.
And since you're mentioning the player experience and all that, the reason why we are here today is obviously Egyptian Magic, the first game coming out of the Atomic Slot Lab. What is the most relevant points that you want to pinpoint or tell us about? Of course, we will go into the details later on, but your take, the most relevant stuff.
Yeah, so Egyptian Magic, it's had quite a history, right, internally for us. We actually debuted this math with a very different art package to look at player take up of the game in the social casino space. And we saw that players gravitated toward the game mechanic quite quickly. And that math in the social space was really kind of immature in its early days, right? We wanted just to put the concept out, test that player acceptance. It was obviously very high. And then we've actually taken this mechanic, and from a investment perspective, we spend actually months really refining our math model. So I know some people build it rather quickly. 2, 3, 4 months isn't unusual for us to really refine that math model. We've actually taken Egyptian Magic and we've built it for land-based clients, right? So it'll be actually deployed in the casino markets later this year with companies like Sega Sammy. And we've actually built it for international markets like Mexico, as well as route markets with limited payouts. And then we've taken this work and this foundation, and then we've really customized it for both the online US player experience and the online European player experience. So the games are a bit different in terms of how they feel overall. Today everybody would be playing the European version of the game, which is a 25 line version compared to a 50 line USA version. We've added a bit more volatility to the European version, but the core and essence of the game is how do we get the best anticipation, the best wins, and how do we return players money? Ultimately, what we're in the design business for is to give people money, right? So, what's the best way we can do that? So with Egyptian Magic, it actually has two features to it. So there's two different bonus rounds. Some people might want the free games. So the free games is a bit different in terms of you can win 8 to 25 free games. And when you're in the free games, you can actually trigger the hold and respin feature as well. So that's going to appeal to a lot of people. The other thing is the core game and the essence around the game is a hold and respin feature, which we've built a few in our lives, and we've had some very good success with it. So our focus with Ed Nicholas. So what our focus with this particular game was how do we make the most interesting hold and respin feature, offer a variety of outcomes, and always have that chance to grow your win. So what makes Egyptian Magic a bit unique is when you're hold and respin feature, we actually run 2 different colored symbols. And if you happen to get purple orbs, those can be upgraded into bigger and better credits. So as you get closer and closer and closer to the end, you actually have a better chance because you can get an upgrade and you'll be upgrading more and more orbs throughout the game. So it's really a nice experience for players to be able to chase, have a chance at a big win that can come at any spin. So they might start the feature and they might see lower values, but knowing that they can upgrade and have a really good feature win really makes a difference to the experience.
I just want to highlight something you said, which I think it's very important to a lot of our viewers. With having this type of layered gameplay and such and various options with let's say bonusing, free rounds, respin options, respins within the game, as well as an upgrade feature, right? So in markets where bonusing of players is restricted, such as the Swedish market, such as potentially you could say the Dutch market where the bonusing is subject to heavy taxation. So having these types of game should appeal to operators and players alike. So the operators get something they can offer instead of a bonus due to this deep, let's say, gamification within the game. And the operators have something they can offer without adding any additional really stuff on it necessarily, if the regulation doesn't allow it. So I think it's building, let's say, wider is paying off in this one, or should pay off.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, this game is about entering into one of two features, right? So it's going to have a bit of a higher feature frequency than a lot of European design games, but we'll offer quite a bit of variability in outcomes of that feature frequency. So it's all about getting into the bonus and then what can the bonus do for you. But it's giving the player a very good chance, right, of getting into the bonus on a regular basis, really by having two different ways to trigger the game.
Great. I'm really excited to go directly straight to the game where we will be able to see how it looks like and what is the strategy we're actually talking about. Now, just a few more words about ASL, so Atomic Slot Lab in general. What are the plans for the future, near term, long term, and what can we look up to after the Egyptian Magic?
Yeah, so we're still growing our teams, right? We view content as the key driver of where we see our business moving forward. So we're going to grow the teams. We're going to grow our output. So Egyptian Magic just represents our initial game to the market. I think later this year you'll see another 8 to 10 games roll out from Atomic Slot Lab, potentially more if we can grow our team a bit quicker. With Atomic Slot Lab, as I mentioned, it is really focused in the online space. So we'll have access, obviously, from some of the work that we do, particularly being based in Las Vegas and spending quite a bit of time in casino markets, right? We'll be able to mix some of the best of what's happening in land-based and have that visibility and be able to combine it with some of the online data and knowledge that we know to really drive those experiences. So, Egyptian Magic, we're really proud of. It launches next week. Can't wait to see how it goes. But ultimately, you will see a portfolio of games roll out of Atomic Slot Lab with a variety of player experiences and a variety of art styles. So we will launch some games with very high feature frequency, and we will also launch some games that are more traditional, sort of gambler focused with bigger wins in the feature. So we're just getting started. We're looking at growing our studios internally around the world. So Atomic Slot Lab is just step one, right? We do have people that support Atomic Slot Lab from all over the world. So I'm looking at growing new internal studios and deploying more games very soon.
We really want to thank you for your time, Doug.
Thank you.
And we are both very, very much looking to what's coming after Egyptian Magic. But of course, Egyptian Magic itself, we think is going to be one of the strongest releases we have in Q1.
Thanks so much. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. I mean, I know everybody's schedule's busy these days. So getting in front and trying out Egyptian Magic, I really appreciate it. And look forward to any feedback you have. So thanks, everybody.
Spin the reels and win big in Egyptian Magic. Land at least 6 special red and purple orbs to win free spins and collect the orb wins. Get the chance of winning one of the jackpots, including the massive grand jackpot. Win godly wins in the land of free spins with any orbs that land. May the Egyptian goddess be with you in Egyptian Magic. Coming soon.